When you hear the word addiction, what comes to mind? Drugs, alcohol, smoking, gambling, things that destroy lives, ruin families, and cause us to hit rock bottom. Things we associate with a decline, a loss of control, a mental prison. But what if I told you that everything you think you know about addiction is only part of the true story? What if there is a type of addiction that not only doesn't destroy you, but actually makes you freer, happier, and more powerful? An addiction that allows you to see the world not as a place to escape from, but as an endless adventure to explore. An addiction that can transform not just your life, but the future of all humanity. If this idea intrigues you, stick with me. This video will change the way you think, forever. When we think of addiction, our minds immediately go to the path of self-sabotage. The person who can't stop smoking even though they know it's harming their lungs. The person who spends all their money on gambling, sacrificing their family's future. The pattern is always the same: an irresistible urge, an immediate gratification, and then a slow but inexorable decline. This dynamic has been extensively studied. As addiction expert Gabor Mate writes in his book In the Realm of Hungry Ghosts, addictions are not a moral choice, nor a character flaw. They are the result of deep suffering and an attempt to self-medicate that pain. In this sense, destructive addictions are an illusion of happiness, a shortcut to feeling good that actually traps us. But not all addictions are the same. There are behaviors that, while becoming powerful habits, lead to opposite outcomes. Think of an athlete who can't live without training, or an artist who loses all sense of time when they are creating, or a person who has made giving back a reason for living. These are behaviors that not only don't harm them, but actually make them stronger, more capable, and more fulfilled. They push them to go beyond their limits, to inspire others, and to leave a positive mark on the world. In a sense, they are addicted to something that makes them better. As the philosopher and psychologist William James once said, "The great use of life is to spend it for something that will outlast it." These positive addictions, these passions, are the engine that allows us to do just that. They generate energy, motivation, and happiness in a self-perpetuating cycle. And among all these positive addictions, there is one that is unique and intrinsic to being human. One that sets us apart from every other species and has shaped our past and will shape our future. I'm talking about the addiction to knowledge. The thirst for knowledge isn't a modern fad or trend. It's a primary impulse that has been with us since the very first moments of our history. Our ancestors didn't learn how to make fire because it was a hobby. Curiosity and the need to survive pushed them to understand how things worked. Agriculture, writing, medicine. Every evolutionary step has been guided by curiosity and the search for answers. Over the millennia, knowledge has given us an unbeatable competitive advantage. It has allowed us to adapt, to create, to innovate. It has been our secret weapon, our superpower. But there was a moment in history when knowledge stopped being just a means for survival and started to be seen as an end in itself. Ancient philosophers, Renaissance scientists, and great thinkers throughout history didn't study just for utility, but for the pure joy of discovery. As Einstein once said, the important thing is not stop questioning. Curiosity has its own reason for existing. This innate desire to understand the world around us is a true addiction. The more we learn, the more we realize how little we know. And this awareness, instead of discouraging us, fuels an even greater hunger for learning. We live in a society that has elevated knowledge to a tool. We go to school to get a diploma. We study at university to get a job. We take a refresher course to get a promotion. We learn a language to travel or to communicate with our partner. These are all noble and rational intentions. We want to maximize our impact, be financially stable, and improve our lives. But in this process, we have lost sight of something fundamental. We have transformed knowledge from a passion into an investment. This utilitarian approach, however, comes at huge cost. It limits us. It forces us to follow predefined paths, to learn only what is useful for a specific purpose. It suffocates that primal curiosity that makes us who we are. And it makes us forget that the true value of knowledge isn't in its return on investment, but in the very act of learning. As the philosopher and educator John Dewey argued, education is not preparation for life. Education is life itself. If knowledge is only a tool, we lose the joy of exploring, of digressing, of asking questions without a precise answer in mind. We lock ourselves in golden cage where our horizon is limited to our field of specialization. What if instead of learning for a purpose, we learn for the sheer enjoyment of it? What if we cultivate an addiction to knowledge for its own sake? It doesn't matter if what we learn won't get us a salary, a promotion, or make us more competitive in the market. What matters is the act of feeding our minds, expanding our horizons, and seeing reality from ever new perspectives. Maybe biology isn't your field, but if you read a book about the life of bees or photosynthesis, you might discover an unexpected interest that enriches you. Maybe you are not a fan of ancient history, but knowing how the Egyptians or Romans lived can give you a new perspective on the present. This useless knowledge is not useless at all. It's the source of creativity, inspiration, and innovation. It's what allows a person to make unexpected connections between different fields, to find original solutions to complex problems. It's what makes us curious, excited, and happy to face life. It's no coincidence that many of history's greatest innovators were eclectic thinkers. Steve Jobs, for example, didn't invent the computer just thanks to his engineering skills. He did it because he has taken a calligraphy course that taught him the importance of design and aesthetic beauty. He was able to combine seemingly distant words to create something completely new. We are moving toward an era of great change. Automation and artificial intelligence are making many of the professions we consider indispensable today obsolete. Many of us will have more free time, and the question is, how will we use it? We could use it to become slaves of destructive addictions, to escape boredom and loneliness in an increasingly automated world. Or we could use it to cultivate the most liberating addiction of all: knowledge. In a future society where work is no longer the only purpose, pure knowledge will become our compass. It will allow us to find new ways to give meaning to our existence. It makes us capable of asking new questions, of solving problems that don't exist yet, of creating a better future not only for ourselves but for the community. As historian and philosopher Yuval Noah Harari once said, "In a world of rapid change and unprecedented uncertainty, the ability to learn and to reinvent oneself is more important than ever." Knowledge cultivated for the sake of it frees us from the need for a personal payoff. It makes us understand that we are part of a bigger flow. It teaches us the importance of collaboration, of sharing discoveries, of building a future where humanity progresses together, not in competition. Personal ambitions are important, of course, but they can't be our only motivation. True happiness is not found only in individual success, but in the contribution we make to something bigger than ourselves. And the best way to do that is to cultivate our minds by feeding our curiosity. We don't have to wait for artificial intelligence or automation to revolutionize the world to start cultivating this addiction. The future is already here. We already have an enormous amount of time, resources, and opportunities to read, explore, and study. Develop an addiction to knowledge and you will be ready for whatever future awaits you. You will be free, resilient, and able to face challenges with creativity and wisdom. Knowledge isn't just a means, it is the end. It is happiness. It is life. It is our future.